good morning, everybody. Um, Let us start. This is a very important class for as a professional in your career and also on a personal level. Why? Because you're going to be selling home for mom, dad, your client who have passed away. So when they pass away, the son or daughter calls you up and say, hey, can you sell this house? Mom just died. You say, absolutely. You pull out your listing. You go down and meet that son, that daughter. Good, right? So the question becomes, who's going to sign that listing agreement? Would it be the son, the daughter? Who's going to sign it, right? Because your owner is in heaven. Mom, who owns the house, is in heaven. So that's one issue. Who's going to sign your listing agreement? How long does it take to close escrow? So that's one issue. The next issue is taxes. Fortunately, California real estate has been really good in terms of appreciation, right, in value. So mom, for example, bought a house in Glendora for $200,000. When she dies, worth $1 million. Are there any taxes to be reckoned with? Are there any capital gain? Or if the son or daughter is not selling the house, they're going to move in, the property tax gets reassessed. So these are the questions you want to walk away with. Okay? You are going to be coming upon a time period where baby boomers are going to start dying off. It's going to happen, right? And they own real estate. So this class is very pertinent for your professional development. What about on a personal level? I mentioned that. How does that affect you on a personal level? You own a house, you're going to die, right? So what's the best way to pass this house to your son, your daughter, in the most efficient manner? Avoid capital gain. If your son or daughter gets a divorce, let's make sure that the in-laws doesn't get it. How do we do all that? What's the best way? So that is the element where I say this class is great for your professional understanding that you're going to need, and also on a personal level. Okay, let us begin. Let us begin. So I'm going to share with you a screen, okay? On the screen right here. So pull out your Kodak phone. This is a Kodak moment. On the screen, I've illustrated, I diagram out what do you do when you get a listing and it involves someone pass away. That someone who owns this house pass away, the son or daughter is calling you. What do you do? Okay, so I mapped it out for you. First thing is you're going to pull up the grand deed. You're going to call up your title rep. Hey, title rep, what is, title rep, give me the grand deed to 123 Main Street, Glendora, for example. Title rep is going to email you back the grand deed. And when you look at the grand deed, let's for now focus on the left-hand side of the screen, shaded in blue. You look at the grand deed. If the house is in a trust, Hallelujah. No probate necessary. No court involvement. The successor trustee would sign your listing agreement. Who is the successor trustee? Who is she? Who is he? When you go draft your trust, the lawyer is going to ask you, hey, guy, I know you have 4 kids. It's going to be divided by 4, for example. Hey, but after you die, we're going to need someone in charge of this trust. Who would that be? You would tell them, you would give them a name. Oh, my oldest daughter, my oldest son, oh, whoever it is, that person is known as the successor trustee. And that person is entrusted with the power, the legality to manage the trust asset, AKA to be able to sign the listing to sell that house. We call that person the successor trustee. Okay, it's a very important title. Okay, guys, very important title. Okay. Now, as I'm covering these material, if any of you have a question, you can raise your hand and we will unmute you. Okay? Yeah, any questions, just raise your hand. We'll unmute you. All right. So, let's see here. Let's see. So let's see here. Let's say hi to Joyce. Joyce, you have a question, Joyce?
Good morning. I have a question regarding if there are 3 children and only one of the parents pass away, what type of scenario would that play out?
Okay, so mom and dad has a trust, and let's just say dad died, right?
Right.
Mom is still alive.
Yes.
The queen is still alive. No one touched anything. The 3
Okay.
children have nothing to do with this trust.
Okay.
Yeah, Joyce, you and your husband create a trust. You and your husband put that house into your trust. As long as you are alive, Joyce, you and your husband control this trust. You still own this house. Husband pass away, no problem, Joyce, you are in charge. After you pass away, Joyce, that's when whoever you and your husband name to be in charge takes over the trust, Joyce.
Okay. And then one last thing. Is there any need to do a reassessment of the property
No.
before she passes away or after? Like a reappraisal, like
Okay, so husband died, right? Does the wife need to do anything? Is that the question? Joyce? Joyce? When husband pass away, Joyce, what you need to do is,
I'm sorry, I'm here.
yeah, married couple, husband died, the house is in a trust, then the sole trustee would be the wife, and then you would just need to get your husband's death certificate and file an affidavit of death of a trustee, Joyce.
Okay. But there's no new appraisal that needs to be done.
You don't need to.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, yeah. So you're the listing agent, your client died, son and daughter calls you up, you pull the grand deed, the house is in a trust, hallelujah. We said the successor trustee signs your listing agreement. How do you actually confirm who is the successor trustee? Johnny, the son, says, I am the successor trustee. Johnny, we trust you. Yeah, we take your word for it. But Johnny, go find the trust, please. Give you a copy of the trust, because the trust is going to list him. It's going to confirm that he is the successor trustee, that he is in charge. So the children would normally bring you a copy of the trust, so you can give it to escrow, to title. That's going to say, yeah, Johnny is the successor trustee, that Johnny is the appropriate legal individual to deal with, to sell this house. Okay. So where would the children find a copy of this trust? Where would they find it? Well, they would search the house, filing cabinet, in the home office. If they're not able to locate a copy of a trust in the house, maybe they can call the estate planning attorney. When you pull the grand deed, in the upper left-hand corner of the grand deed should be the name of the attorney. Okay. Now, what happened if nobody has a copy of the trust? The grand deed shows the house is in the trust. If you're unable to find a copy of the trust, too bad, so sad, welcome to probate. Okay. So even if you have a trust, the house is grand deeded to the trust, and you cannot find a copy of the trust, too bad, so sad, welcome to probate. The children cannot find it in the house, cannot find it. You call the lawyer is dead. Thank God lawyer died, right? Thank God lawyer died. Well, in this case, he or she is dead, right? So make sure you always have a copy of your trust. A signed copy is good enough. Let's say hi to Chris. Hi, Chris. Chris Cervantes. Good morning. Chris? Let's see, I thought I saw Chris had his hand up. Okay, anybody else with any questions so far? What we talked about? Having a copy of your trust is very, very important. Okay. Yeah, so Chris says it won't let me unmute. Yeah, I think.
There it is. Can you hear me now, Paul?
Yes, I can.
All right. Thanks so much for taking my question. So what if the person on title, husband and wife own the home, husband passes away. What if the wife does not file the affidavit of death and, husband passed away 10 years ago? What happens at this point?
That's okay. She can file it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Now, but we always begin with the grand deed. So let's say, is the grand deed under joint tenant, or is the house in the trust?
it was in the trust when he passed away.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. Do it now. Get the death certificate, file the affidavit death of a trustee.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Chris, don't go anywhere. What you often see these days, Chris, is this. What you often see these days is the house is under joint tenant. Husband died. California law, Chris, husband always die first, right? Husband died. Then all the wife needs to do is file an affidavit of death of a joint tenant. The house goes to her, and if she wants to sell it, she's the sole owner. That's how you would handle in a joint tenant situation.
Makes sense.
But since we're on joint tenant, let's just extend this for a moment. A lot of people own a house under joint tenant, a lot, and that's how you handle upon one death. Okay. But here's the problem for joint tenant. The problem is, so let's do this as an example. Let's say we have a very wealthy 80-year-old successful high producer realtor at C-Bar. Her name is Jane. She's 80 years old. Very successful, high producer. She's 80 years old. She buys a $5 million mansion house in joint tenant with Rico Suave, who's only 25 years old. Rico Suave does not have a penny to his name, but who cares? He's got a six-pack, right? $5 million bucks, all of Jane's money. Jane has a daughter from a prior marriage. 25 days later, after the wedding, Jane passed away peacefully with a smile on her face. Who gets this house? Not the daughter. They all go to Rico Suave, 100%. So theoretically, you could disinherit your son and your daughter with joint tenant. When you in a second marriage, very, very dangerous. Okay? You live in California, you know that divorce happens in California and people move on to second marriages. And if you're not careful and you buy these houses under joint tenant and you die first, nothing goes to your kid. You go to heaven and you remember what I said. Too bad, so sad, right? Okay. All right. Any question on this point? This is a pretty important point. Raise your hand and I think Wei would unmute you. Okay. All right. So that completes that thought. So now let us kind of step back for a second. I said, hey, house is in a trust, successor trustee signs your listing agreement. It's all good. You move forward. Okay. There are certain situations where you are at a listing appointment. You're at a listing appointment, husband and wife, okay? Husband and wife, you're sitting in front of the husband and wife. And the husband, the wife is fine. Okay, she says they sell this house for us. So she takes your listing and she signs it. Now her husband is still alive. Her husband has dementia. Her husband has Alzheimer's. Can he sign your listing agreement? You're selling that house for that couple. Husband has dementia. He's still alive. He's unable to sign your listing agreement. What do? In order to have your listing agreement be valid, you're going to ask for the durable power of attorney. Very, very important. You're going to see that happening out there with baby boomers. The durable power of attorney is going to say who can sign his name. Okay? So in situation where one party is mentally incapacitated, a durable power of attorney is critical. So on the screen are the important elements of what makes a good trust, what makes a good estate planning. Kodak this moment. Okay, take out your Kodak phone. Take a picture of this. When you go draft your estate planning, when you go draft your trust, a good trust is going to say, my house go to whoever you want to, my children, for example. If my children get a divorce, the spouse cannot touch it. Someone sue my kid, they cannot touch it. If my kids are not there, I give it to my grandchildren. That makes a good trust. Okay. Also, like we talked, the lawyer is going to give you the durable power of attorney. If you are incapacitated, your wife, your daughter, your son can sign your name, take care of you. If you are in a hospital, they can ask for the advanced healthcare directive. The lawyer is going to draft a will that says it's a pourable will. That says all my stuff go to the trust. for my son, my daughter, to the trust for my beneficiary, the son or the daughter. Okay, the lawyer is going to physically redo the grand deed, change the owner of that house to be owned by the trust. So on, and if you have any LLCs, any corporation, all that goes into the trust as well. Okay. What I want to do at this moment is this. A good recap, a good in-depth recap of what we talked about so far. A good in-depth recap would be this. I'm going to take you to a website. Okay. I'm going to take you to my website. This video right here is a great in-depth discussion of what we just talked about so far. I'm going to pop this link into the chat box. When you want to understand what makes a good trust, when you want to understand what is a durable power of attorney, watch that link that I just put in the trust. Okay. Raise your hand, guys, and we can unmute you. Can you raise your hand, and then we'll unmute you. Okay, so let's see here. So now let's move on to taxes. Okay, let's move on to taxes. Any questions so far, guys? Just raise your hand, and we'll come and get you. Okay.
There are a few questions in the chat. Let me see. Marcelo asked, what happens both husband and wife die in an accident? Who is the trustee?
Yeah, Marcelo. When you and your wife go to draft the trust, Marcelo, for example, you have 3 kids. And when you go draft your trust, the lawyer is going to ask you, Marcelo, as long as you're alive, you're in charge. Marcelo, your house is going to go to all your kids, and you go share, for example. Marcelo, if you pass away, you and your wife, who should be in charge? So it's whoever you name in the trust, Marcelo, as the trustee. Okay. Marcelo, you and your wife have 3 young children, ages 6, 8, and 10. You both die, you and your wife. The kids are too young. When you go draft your trust, the lawyer is going to ask you, Marcelo, should you and your wife prematurely die and your kids under 18, who should be in charge, Marcelo? Is it grandpa, grandma? Is it Auntie Lizzie? Is it Uncle Frank? Those are the people in charge. It's already named and built in the trust as a trustee, Marcelo. Okay. That's the answer to Marcelo's question. Yeah. Let's see, we have Claudia. Hi, Claudia.
Hi. So back to the joint tenant problem with the joint tenancy. So then what would be better than joint tenancy before the property is in a trust? So would it be community property, or what is the other option for holding it if I don't want my husband to give it to his new wife?
Okay. All right. So Claudia's question is, Claudia says, hey, I am wise enough to understand that these days, blended family are dime a dozen, right? Things don't work out, and you move on to your second marriage, right? Nobody's fault. Divorce happened, and you move on, okay? Yeah. Or you die, you know? So the answer is when you buy a house, you get a trust. When you buy a house, you get a trust. Let's say, Claudia, you worked so hard for the last 20 years. You have a couple of kids. For example, Claudia, you're a single mom. You work so hard. You're a superwoman. You raise them. You own a couple of houses. Now you meet a really terrific guy, right? So when you buy a house with that terrific guy, don't do joint tenant, because if you do joint tenant, you die, it all goes to him and his new wife or his kid. You put that house in a trust, Claudia. The trust says, hey, if I die, perhaps maybe my husband can live in this house until he dies, and that goes to my kid. Or perhaps if I die, hey, this house specifically go to my kid. That's how you handle it, Claudia, with a trust that specifically says, upon my demise, upon my death, the blood, sweat, and tears that I worked so hard for that house, I wanted to go to my children. Claudia, that's how you would write it up. That's how you would tell the lawyer to write it up, Claudia. Claudia, you said, no, Paul, stop. There is never a divorce in California. Paul Horn, are you ludicrous, Paul Horn? There's never ever a divorce. Everybody's happily married. I just want to make sure that, when I die, the new wife doesn't touch it. That's fine too. We can build that in there too. That says that, no one ever gets a divorce, right? But just in case you will die, we know that, right? We can dispute whether you're going to get a divorce or not, but we're not going to dispute that you're going to die. Fair enough? Yeah, so we can also build trust in such a fashion where if you die, we make sure the new spouse doesn't touch what you worked so hard for. We can do that too. Claudia, does that answer your question?
Okay, sorry, I was muted. Yes, partially. So ideally, we want to put everything in a trust, but we just bought our house. It's very expensive. A lot of expenses at once. So we want to wait to put it in a trust a little bit. So what would it be our options before that? Like, so joint tenancy, or is there like
You should do community property or right of survivorship.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, if you can explain that a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, Claudia, I'm assuming that you just got married. I'm assuming that this is not all your money. Let's
Yeah.
say you work so hard, you all the down payment is yours, and you just met this new guy, you got married. Well, perhaps community property survivorship is not that good, right? Because if you die, he takes it all. Is that fair to your kids? Claudia, what I'm trying to say is, generally, let's take in a normal situation, you just got married, you're buying a house together, then the best way is community property, right of survivorship. You die, your husband gets it. Your husband died, you get it. That's called community property or right of survivorship, Claudia.
Thank you.
But Claudia, right? We know the world, life is messy. Claudia, can you foresee a circumstance where you have two kids, not you, but just in general, someone has two kids from a prior marriage, someone else has three kids from a prior marriage, you just got together and it's all your money. Is it fair, Claudia, to do community property right survivorship? You die, he gets the whole house? and then he died, it all goes to his kid. Claudia, is that fair?
No.
There you go. Right. So understand, we just bought this house, we're broke. Chill out, bro. Right. That's what my 7-year-old son just say. Chill out, bro. You know, easy with the noise. Just don't die before you do the trust, Claudia. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but just understand. And this is being recorded, by the way. You can go back and watch this. Okay. If your clients, they're buying a house and they are wondering how to take title. They're wondering, how should we take title? Okay. You're a client or you are in escrow and you're wondering to yourself, geez, escrow have asked us, do we want joint tenant? Escrow has asked us, do we want community property survivorship? Or is it an LLC or is it a trust? Watch this video. I'm going to put this video in the chat box. Save it somewhere where if you have a question about vesting, should I vest under joint tenant? Should I vest under community property survivorship? Should I vest it in an LLC? What's the difference? Okay. I'm buying a house. I'm buying an investment property with my sister. I'm buying an investment property with my uncle. How should I hold title? Perhaps maybe tenant in common? This video walks you through it. Okay. That video, I just put it into the chat box. All right. Any questions so far, guys? Raise your hand, guys. We will unmute you.
So there's quite a few questions in the chat. Do you want to continue on and we can leave like maybe 10 minutes at the end and get these questions in the chat answered? Or do you want me to kind of call them out right now for you, Paul?
Okay. All right. Okay. Why don't we do this? Why don't I kind of go through it?
Perfect.
But if someone has a mic and they want to raise their hand, I'll take those. I'll take the live one. But so if you want your question immediately answered, raise your hand. Everything in the chat box will hit at the end. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. So let's talk about taxes. Let's talk about taxes. Okay. So the biggest concept that you should walk away this morning is a tax concept known as a step up in basis. Okay. So I am a probate attorney. So I can give you legal advice. I happen to be also a CPA, Chinese Party Animal, CPA, right? So let's talk about taxes. When you are selling a house for a client, and that client bought this house, for very, very cheap. When that client passed away and you sell that house, it doesn't matter how much capital gain there is. There's something known as the step up in basis. They will not owe any taxes. Okay, so pull out your Kodak phone, take a picture of what's on the screen. Okay. Mom and dad put a house in their trust, and they could own this house for 30 years already. All they got to do is get it in the trust. When they pass away, the son or daughter asks you to sell this house. There's no capital gain. Okay. The biggest mistake you and your client can make is adding the name of those children onto the grant deed while you are alive. Don't do that. Okay. Spend the money to get a trust. so that when you pass away, your kids sell this house, zero capital gain, zero tax. And so if you have a trust, no probate, step up in basis, no capital gain. If you have a trust, something very powerful happen. Also is that you avoid Medicare recovery. Okay? Very, very important. If you are using Medicare, when you pass away and your kid have to go through probate because they don't have a trust, they're going to pay Medicare back. But if you have a trust, there's no Medicare recovery. This is huge. You've been on Medicare for 20 years. Your client's been on Medicare for 30 years. Can they still take advantage of this? Yes. I'm going to put on the screen what they need to do. Your client's been on Medicare for 30 years. Okay? What can they do to make sure that their kid don't have to sell this house to pay Medicare back? Do the two things I'm going to pop on the screen. Number one, get a living trust. Number two, then they can die. Do it in that order, right? Sign the living trust first. Even though you've been on Medicare for 20 years, 30 years, sign the living trust first. Get the living trust done. Then you can die in that order. Okay? Yeah. Very, very important. Okay, so those are the two important things I wanted to cover for you. You're going to be selling houses for the baby boomers. There's no capital gain because it's step up in basis. Okay. Another side benefit of having a trust is no Medicare recovery, like you see on the screen. Okay. Okay, let us move on to probate. Let us move on to probate, okay? I'm going to put this chart back up. So far, I have covered for you in the left-hand side. What do you do when a house is in a trust? Now let's cover the right-hand side. Someone died, you pull the grant deed, it's not in a trust. It's not in a trust, there's no trust, okay? If that is the situation, if the house is not in a trust, it's gonna go to probate. In a probate, the personal representative appointed by the judge is gonna be the individual who has the powers to sign your listing agreement, the personal representative. 90% of all probate cases are full authority. If there is a full authority case, you follow this diagram right here, and that says full authority, okay? All you need to do is, if it's full authority, the lawyer is gonna give you the order for probate, that's a form, plus another legal form known as letters. Then you can accept an offer. Once you accept the offer, you give the lawyer the notice of proposed action. 15 days later, you close escrow. That's how simple full authority probate transaction work. Let's break it down a little bit more for you, okay? So if you have a full authority probate, on the screen are all the document escrow is going to need you to give them before you can close that probate full authority transaction. Take a picture of this. One is called a copy of the order for probate. Another one is a certified copy of letters. The notice of proposed action or a waiver. A tax ID number for the estate. A letter from the probate attorney saying that there's no estate tax. Okay. As far as your car form, you're gonna need the California Residential Purchase Agreement, probate agreement purchase addendum, probate advisory. Okay. what is shown on the screen. All right, so that's full authority. Now, the two most important form, so you're in the probate, it's full authority. Take a picture of this screen right here. This is a must. You must have this form. It's called order for probate. And you must have this form called letters. You must have these two forms first before you can sign and accept an offer. Very, very important. Okay, very, very important. So let's recap. Understand probate takes 1 year to complete, 1 year. Understand that you can sell this house in a probate. Understand that probate start. These two forms that you critically need to accept an offer, order for probate, and letters, they're going to come the 3rd month. The lawyer starts the case. 90 days later, you get these two forms, you accept an offer, give it to the lawyer drafts the notice of proposed action. 15 days later, you close escrow. That's how full authority works. Okay? All right. If it's limited authority, separate set of document that's needed for escrow. Limited authority probate only takes about, it's only about 10% of the time. You don't want limited authority. Limited authority requires court confirmation. It requires a 10% deposit down. It's a nightmare. Okay? So if you ever have a probate listing, tell the lawyer you want full authority. Don't do limited authority. Okay? So let me kind of show you a diagram. If you ever got caught in a limited authority case, I want you to follow this diagram right here. Follow this diagram where it says limited authority. So these are the steps 1 to 9. Okay. It's limited authority because that lawyer don't know what he or she is doing. It's a nightmare for you because the steps are much longer. They're much more prerequisite to sell that house. You're gonna need the order for probate, letters. It's gonna be needed to publish in a legal newspaper that you're gonna sell the house. Then after that, you accept an offer, put 10% down by the buyer. It needs to go to court confirmation where it gets auctioned off. Okay. And it's going to be overbidding, very, very cumbersome. It takes a lot more time with limited authority. Okay. You don't want to do that. Okay. One last point I want to cover with you is Prop 19. Understand that Proposition 19, when mom died, all the rental property, if the children wants to keep it, it's going to get reassessed. The only house that don't get reassessed is the primary resident, and the children has to move into that house to keep the same property tax basis. And they better do all that within 1 year. Okay. What I have done, I have made this topic easy for you. And how did I do that? I have made this topic easy for you. Okay. How did I do that? I have written a book specifically for you guys. It's called The Real Estate Agent Guides to Probate and Trust Sale. I charge $99 for it, but I'm willing to give it to you for free. The free code word is CVAR. CVAR. Use that code, it's free. If you don't use that code, you're going to pay 99 bucks. What do? You come to this site right here, the ebook. You come to this site. let me put this in the chat box for you. You come to this site, you click on that link, paulhornlawfirm.com/ebook. You click on that and you say, oh, I'm a member of CVAR. Okay. I'm giving you this free code. Okay. Nancy at CVAR is terrific. CVAR is terrific. I'm giving you a free gift. You click on, I have a free promo code. You click on it in blue. It's going to ask you to enter in first name, last name, your email address. Promo code CVAR. C as in Charlie, V as in Victor, A as in Apple, R as in Romeo. You do that. You click download the book. Go check your email. It's going to give you a link. You can download it for free. Okay? All right. So that's how you're going to, everything I taught you is in this book. This is this ebook. Okay? No other book out there is going to walk you through what I just went over. What I went over is the high level roadmap. The one you want detail, where you actually handle a transaction, one way is that book right there. Okay. All right, guys. So just so I don't forget, I want to thank Nancy. She is terrific. If you enjoy this class, give Nancy a shout. She's the one that put this class together for you. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take questions. Okay, so if you want to speak to us, raise your hand. Other than that, let's see if I can. Hi, Nancy, go ahead.
Hi. There are a few in the questions in the chat. And so if someone does want to raise their hand, we can get to your question. Some of the questions in the chat were answered, but if we don't get to your question in the chat, then you can always reach out to Paul. But Ramiro has a question, so I'm going to ask you to unmute. And once I do, then you will be able to unmute yourself. So go ahead and unmute.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to ask Paul, for the step up in basis, if the trust is selling the property, if a trustee is selling the property, and the estate sells it in the trust's name, is there still a step up in tax basis?
Yes. So always make sure the trust is selling it, because what happened is that the trust will get a tax ID number. The trust sells it. The trust is going to file Form 1041 to account for the sale, account for step up in basis. The children, the beneficiary gets the money, zero tax.
Zero tax. Okay. Great. Thank you so much for answering that.
You are welcome. Okay.
I think Alex has a question.
Oh, Alex Rodriguez there. Alex Rodriguez. Yes, go ahead, sir.
All right, Alex, I asked you to unmute. You can unmute.
Okay, thank you so much. Hey, Paul. Hey, so I'm working on a probate scenario right now. My question is this: there's the biological son, right, who's the petitioner, who is the petitioner, right, and then the extended family, nieces, nephews, and sisters to the deceased are living in the property, who are contesting against the biological son. So my question is this: is that in these probate scenarios, will the court does it automatically go to the biological children before it goes to the extended family, or if they have a case saying that, oh, the biological son, he's not a good guy and we're all against him, will the court see the other way?
So Alex's question is, hey, Paul, I'm dealing with a probate, and this family seems to, the last name of this family is Springer. First name is Jerry Springer. This is a Jerry Springer family. They're fighting, Paul. They're fighting to be who should be in charge. So, Paul, who should be in charge? We have a Jerry Springer case on our hand, Paul. Who should be in charge? Okay. Here is your hierarchy of who the judge is going to pick. If there is a surviving spouse goes first. If there are any children, the children gets to be in charge, then the grandchildren. This is your hierarchy of who can be in charge. Alex. Alex. How many children are there, Alex, alive?
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. There is 2 biological kids, and there are, I think, another 2 adopted kids.
Okay, so there are 4 total.
4 total.
And they all want to be in charge?
No, the 2 biological kids are in agreement, and one of the biological kids has petitioned to be the administrator, and then the other 2 adopted kids are siding with the extended family.
Okay, yeah. So there'll be a fight on hand because those 4 children have equal footing to be in charge. So they would have to hire a lawyer to duke it out. Who is better? Who's in a better position to serve? Those 4 adopted kids have equal standing.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Biological kid.
Okay. So in this scenario, the attorney for the petitioner is encouraging the biological son, the petitioner, to take a settlement of 25,000 and just to walk away. But the son wants the house.
That doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right.
It should be, if there's no will, no trust, if there are 4 kids, it's going to be divided by 4, 25% each. Not 25,000, 25%.
Got you. That makes sense. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, and Giovanna had a question as well, so I'm going to ask Giovanna to unmute. You should be able to unmute now, Giovanna.
Hi, I have a family that lost their parents a few years ago, but just found a trust that never was recorded or filed. My question is, do trusts that are on file get expired?
Okay, so here is the answer to your question. The answer to your question is this. I want you to focus your eye. I want you to focus your eye on the screen. Okay. So when you go get your trust done, you're going to get these 7 things. Okay.
Okay.
The only thing that gets recorded is number 5, meaning a new grandee.
Right.
Trust, number 1 is the trust. The trust is going to say how many children you have. Are you married? How many houses do you have? That's the trust.
Right.
Trust is never recorded. Okay.
Right.
So I'm thinking your question is, there is a trust and there's a grandee showing the trust is the owner. That grandee was never recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
Go record now. As long as you have the original grandee, you can record it.
Oh, okay. Because they were afraid that, I don't know, the county didn't accept it or something.
Don't be afraid. If you have the original and it's notarized, you can record it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And
You're
thanks for the book too.
You are welcome. Okay. Any other question out there that wants to speak up? So guys, I think we're coming to a close. I want to thank Nancy for hosting this event. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank CMAR. Everything that you want to know about this topic, I have put it in writing for you. This book right here. Okay? The best book out there, and the price is right. FREE, right? There you go. Take over, Nancy. Thank you.
Free. We like free.
Yes.
So go use the book. It is
Or-
free.
Or you say, Paul Horn, you can use some money to get some coffee. You can pay the $99. Up to you.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, thank you so much, everyone, for attending today. I am so sorry we couldn't get to everyone's question. We do have a limited amount of time. Paul's number is on the screen. I will also send a follow-up email after the class, with the link to the book as well as the code for the promo code. And then I will also send the links that Paul had put in the chat for you, so you have access to those in that follow-up email. So I do want to say thank you so much to everyone who attended today, and also a big, huge thank you to Paul for giving his time to us to give us this information. If you do have questions about anything you learned in the class today, do reach out to Paul and he will assist you. With that, I just want to let everyone know that more classes like this can be found on our website, which are cvard.net. And my name's Nancy. If you have any questions for me, please do reach out. With that, I hope everyone has, a wonderful weekend, and stay safe and enjoy the beautiful weather that we are going to have this weekend. So thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye now. Thank you, Paul, once again. Thanks.
Thank you.